Jason Statham is a famous action movie star from Hollywood. He's known for his tough guy stare, serious acting style, and amazing stunts. He doesn't talk much when he's not making movies. But when he does talk, what he says is really surprising. Jason just told everyone about 6 actors he really doesn't like working with. These aren't just small problems. These are big fights and disagreements. From angry feelings on movie sets to personalities that don't get along and different ways of working, these aren't just casual dislikes. They're real grudges that have lasted a long time. In this video, we'll talk about every name he mentioned, look at why he doesn't like them, and find out about the behind-the-scenes drama that magazines were scared to write about. Were these fights fair, or is there more to the story than we know? Get ready! This is Jason Statham like you've never seen him before. Number 1. Vin Diesel. Nobody expected this surprise, not even the biggest Fast and Furious fans. Jason Statham, famous for his cold, deadly action roles and steady on-screen presence, just told everyone about one of Hollywood's quietly building tensions. At the center of it all is Vin Diesel, the main guy of the Fast movies and the actor who plays Dominic Toretto. Their fight, while mostly hidden from regular viewers, had been growing behind the cameras for years. It all started on the movie set of Fast and Furious Presents, Hobbs and Shaw. Statham's character, Deckard Shaw, a smart and dangerous bad guy turned good, was supposed to balance out Diesel's Dominic Toretto, but they never really worked well together. Behind all the explosions and exciting car chases, trouble was starting. Interviews during movie promotion gave small hints. The Rock and Statham joked around easily. Their friendship was playfully sharp, but Diesel seemed tense, quiet, and strangely missing from many group moments. The main reason for Statham's frustration, as he later admitted, was how Diesel acted on set. "It was like working with a teenager stuck in a bodybuilder's body," Statham said honestly, always showing up late, changing scenes, constantly asking to make his character look better than everyone else's. "It's really tiring. I love a challenge, but I don't take care of people's big egos. That's not why I make movies." People who worked with them agreed with what he said. Diesel, who wanted to keep the tough guy energy of Toretto, reportedly demanded changes that made him look good in every scene, creating unavoidable tension with Statham's Shaw, a character designed to steal the attention. The problem wasn't just about work. It was personal, caused by different working styles and an unspoken competition for who got more screen time. Even though there was tension, Statham stayed unusually polite in public appearances. When asked about the famous Diesel-Johnson fight during Fast 8, he avoided the controversy completely. "I stay out of any arguing or any troubles that people have. I have nothing to do with it, and I don't want any part of it," Statham told People magazine. "I have a good friendship with Dwayne, and I'd like to keep it that way." His words showed both wisdom and strategy. Recognize the problem but never make it worse. But behind his controlled outside appearance, Statham's dislike was clear. He valued being exact, professional, and respecting his work, qualities he felt Diesel sometimes ruined. While Diesel focused on keeping his Toretto mystery and sometimes promoting side businesses like his company and health supplements, Statham wanted a fair playing field, respect for the scene and the story, not ego-driven rewrites. Vin Diesel, for his part, has rarely responded publicly to Statham's comments. Behind the scenes, sources suggest Diesel sees Statham as a really good actor, but also as a troublesome newcomer, an actor willing to challenge Toretto's leadership in a movie series built around Diesel's charm. In private, the tension has reportedly gotten easier, especially as the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off allowed Diesel to focus on his Toretto story, while Statham's Shaw earned his own storyline. As of 2025, the fight is far from explosive, but far from forgotten. They share professional respect, born of necessity. Explosions, car chases, and worldwide box office numbers. But the underlying tension remains. Statham continues to look for roles that demand discipline and physical work, while Diesel remains the face of Fast and Furious, the main guy who defines the movie series. Their paths cross professionally, yet privately, there's careful distance, a mutual understanding that some crashes are better kept off-screen. In the end, Statham's honest truth reminded Hollywood that even in the most polished blockbuster movie sets, egos and tension are never far from the action. "I loved working with the crew," Statham said, "but if I've got to manage someone's ego just to make a scene work, I'm out." And with that, the audience gets a rare truth. Behind the car chases and explosions, even action heroes have limits, and they're not afraid to say so. Number 2, Steven Seagal. Jason Statham has always been about being real. Every punch, every chase, every tough look he gives on screen comes from years of real training and hard work. To him, action isn't just pretending. It's a skill. He respects the sweat, the hard work, the quiet hours of practice that make a fight scene feel dangerous, not fake. So when Steven Seagal's name came up, Statham didn't hesitate. He cut straight through the lies. "I trained for years in martial arts. He turned it into a silly show," Statham said sharply. "He's a joke, and he walks around like he's the next Bruce Lee, except Bruce Lee actually did the work." That line hit like thunder. For Statham, this wasn't a personal attack. It was about what's right. His rise from lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels to the transporter was built on hard reality. He fought, he bled, he trained, and he earned it. Seagal, in his eyes, represented the opposite. A man full of ego, hiding behind lies, and playing the role of a martial arts master without living the discipline. Seagal, of course, didn't take the insult lightly. In a rare interview, he dismissed Statham with the same attitude that has made him unpopular with much of Hollywood. "Jason's a talented stuntman, but he's not on my level. He doesn't understand what I've done for martial arts in movies," Seagal said. It was classic Seagal. Big-headed, untouchable, and full of self-importance. But the movie industry wasn't buying it. For years, Seagal's reputation had gone from mysterious martial artist to tabloid joke, weighed down by stories of on-set arrogance, weird lawman behavior, and questionable claims about his past. Statham's words didn't create that image. They confirmed what many already whispered. Insiders say the clash between the 2 men was bound to happen. Statham's entire career is a rejection of everything Seagal came to represent. No stunt doubles, no shortcuts, no fake stories, just hard work and sharp execution. Where Statham fights for toughness and realism, Seagal leans on spectacle and ego. The feud never exploded into a tabloid war, but the divide remains obvious. Statham has no interest in making peace. His remarks made that clear. Seagal, meanwhile, continues to ignore critics while retreating further into his strange, self-created world. As of today, there's no making up, no handshake, no quiet peace, just a cold silence that says everything. For Jason Statham, Steven Seagal isn't a rival. He's a warning story. And in the unforgiving world of action movies, that may be the harshest judgment of all. Number 3, Shia LaBeouf. Jason Statham has never had much patience for Hollywood drama. From his days as a stuntman to his rise as one of the most money-making action stars on the planet, his rule has been simple. Show up, do the work, no excuses. He's built a career on toughness and getting things done, not tantrums and tabloid drama. So when the name Shia LaBeouf came up, it surprised people. On paper, they couldn't be more different. Statham, the no-nonsense tough guy. LaBeouf, the unpredictable child star turned self-styled troublemaker. The 2 had never worked on a movie together. But behind the scenes, a spark of conflict caught fire. It began with a project that never got made. "We were in talks for a film a few years back," Statham explained. "Studio was excited. I wasn't. Told them he wasn't right. He found out, sent me a message. Let's just say it wasn't exactly professional." What Statham left unsaid spoke louder than the words themselves. LaBeouf's history of being unpredictable, his bar fights, his on-set breakdowns, his reputation for method acting pushed to extremes, painted the rest of the picture. Statham, a man who values discipline above chaos, saw in LaBeouf everything he hated. "Some people want to be tortured geniuses," Statham remarked flatly. "I just want to get the job done without someone throwing a tantrum in their trailer." LaBeouf didn't stay quiet. According to those close to him, he was furious about being dismissed as not right for the project and shot back with biting words of his own. "Jason's just a mechanic who throws punches. That's not acting. he reportedly told a friend. It was classic LaBeouf. Defensive, defiant, unwilling to give up an inch. The tension got worse when movie industry rumors linked Statham to the Transformers movies. Right as LaBeouf was walking away, headlines guessed that Rosie Huntington-Whiteley's boyfriend might replace LaBeouf in future movies. For LaBeouf, who had carried the series through 3 massive blockbusters, the idea hurt. One source said he saw it as Hollywood trying to erase him overnight. What might have been a one-time disagreement turned into something bigger, a clash of beliefs. Statham saw being professional as a duty. LaBeouf believed chaos fueled his art. Neither respected the other's approach, and neither was willing to back down. Today the feud hasn't erupted into open war, but the ice has never melted. They avoid each other, never share space, and when asked, Statham keeps his words short. LaBeouf keeps his insults sharp. "We're not the same kind of actor," Statham said when pressed in one interview, and that's all there is to it. But behind that control is a crack that hasn't healed. A quiet reminder that in Hollywood sometimes the fiercest battles happen without a single scene shot. Number 4. Jared Leto. Jason Statham has never been one for drama. For him, acting is simple. Show up, know your lines, hit your marks, and let the work speak for itself. No drama, no games, no circus. So when the name Jared Leto entered his world, it was bound to clash. The two nearly worked together on a psychological thriller that stopped in pre-production. From the start, Statham was confused by what he saw. Leto didn't walk into the first creative meeting as Jared Leto. He walked in as his character. He came to the table like he was preparing for sainthood, Statham recalled, his tone half amused, half disgusted. Wouldn't break character. Wanted to be called by the name of his role. Wouldn't shake hands. Said it was out of character. It's like, "Mate, we're in a coffee meeting. Relax." Statham shook his head and made his decision on the spot. "I don't care how good you are on screen. If I've got to babysit someone's ego just to make a movie, I'm out." That was the beginning of the split. And Statham didn't keep his thoughts private. In an interview later, when asked about working with method actors, he didn't hold back. "I'm not here to live in someone's fantasy. I'm here to make films. There's a difference between dedication and being a bloody nuisance." It didn't take long for word to reach Leto. True to form, he fired back in his own mysterious, almost philosophical way. "Some actors punch, some actors play. I choose to disappear. If that makes someone uncomfortable, maybe they're afraid of truth." The insult was subtle, but the meaning was clear. Leto saw himself as the artist, Statham as the technician. For movie industry insiders, the clash was a perfect example of two worlds that rarely meet. Statham, the no-nonsense action star who values being exact and efficient. Leto, the self-styled spiritual guide of movies, willing to bleed, break, and make people angry if it meant digging deeper into a role. Did the feud ever cool down? Not really. They've never worked on a movie together, and according to those close to both, they never will. Statham has avoided projects with Leto attached, and Leto, for his part, seems to wear Statham's dislike like a badge of honor. Today, the two remain complete opposites, circling the same Hollywood world, but never crossing paths. Statham still does well with stripped-down, high-energy movies. Leto continues to shock with immersive transformations, and between them hangs a silent agreement. No working together, no making up, no middle ground. Because in Jason Statham's world, there's no room for coffee meetings that feel like confessions. And in Jared Leto's world, there's no point in acting if you don't live the role 24/7. Number 5. Mark Wahlberg. Jason Statham has never been the type to sugarcoat. He speaks the way he fights on screen, direct, sharp, and with no wasted motion. So when he finally talked about his feelings toward Mark Wahlberg, it wasn't dressed up in politeness or movie industry PR. It was raw, almost surgical in how cleanly he drew the line. The two had history. Back in the Italian Job 2003, they were part of the same slick early 2000s group cast. On camera, it looked like friendship. Off camera, though, crew members noticed the tension. Statham showed up on time, ready to grind through long stunt practices. Wahlberg brought a different energy. "He's the kind of guy who walks into a room and makes everything about him," Statham later recalled. "Always cracking jokes, keeping people waiting while he's off doing promo calls for his burger chain. We're here to make a film, not babysit a brand. But what really bothered Statham was what he saw as Wahlberg's double life. He still plays up this Boston tough guy act like he's living in The Departed, Statham said. Then you see him flying private to give speeches at business seminars for his supplement company. Spare me the working-class routine. To Statham, it wasn't just an act. It was a betrayal of being real. Wahlberg, of course, didn't just let it slide. In later interviews, he brushed it off with a smile, but his words carried their own sting. Look, Jason's intense. He takes everything seriously, maybe too seriously. I like to have fun on set, keep things loose. If that's a crime, then guilty as charged. And when a reporter mentioned Statham's tough guy critique, Wahlberg fired back with a grin. Hey, at least I don't need stunt doubles to look tough. It was an insult Statham didn't publicly answer, but those close to him said he was angry. For years, the feud stayed quiet, showing up only in flashes. Producers reportedly suggested the idea of pairing them again, either in another action group movie or a buddy cop picture, but both men said no. The chemistry isn't there, one insider admitted. They'd rather pass on a paycheck than share a set again. So where do things stand now? Neither man has extended an olive branch, and neither has gone for the throat. It's not open war, but it's not peace either. It's a cold truce. They circle each other in Hollywood's world, aware of the other's power, but careful to avoid overlap. For Statham, it remains a matter of what's right. He sees Wahlberg as the poster boy for Hollywood's obsession with image and branding over toughness. For Wahlberg, Statham is the opposite, a guy who refuses to lighten up, stuck in his own code. And whatever spark of friendship the Italian Job suggested 2 decades ago, it died the moment the cameras stopped rolling. Number 6. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In Hollywood, egos don't just collide, they explode. And when Jason Statham and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson first shared the screen in the Fast and Furious movies, it wasn't just a clash of characters. It was a battle of two real-life tough guys, both determined never to come out second best. The feud started quietly, almost invisibly during Furious 7. According to producers, both men had rules in their contracts that made one thing crystal clear. Neither Jason Statham's Deckard Shaw nor The Rock's Luke Hobbs would ever lose a fight. What might sound like a small detail became a massive headache for the stunt team. Every punch, kick, and headbutt had to be counted, balanced and rebalanced so that neither man looked weaker than the other. Michael Fottrell, a longtime producer, admitted the fights were choreographed like political negotiations. No one came out the definitive loser. Even Vin Diesel got involved, reportedly inventing a counting system to make sure punches were evenly traded. Statham himself hinted at the silliness years later, saying in an interview, "We're not really fighting. We're negotiating punch by punch. You've got to keep it even or someone gets upset." Dwayne Johnson, never shy about his own tough guy presence, fired back with his own explanation. "It's not always easy being an alpha, and it's 2 alphas," he told USA Today. "But I'll say this, I always respect a man who shows up ready to work." But respect didn't erase the tension. Reports from set suggested that Statham, a disciplined martial artist with a background in diving and kickboxing, felt Johnson leaned too much on brute force and star power. Meanwhile, Johnson, coming from WWE, where showmanship is survival, saw Statham's stone-faced intensity as stubbornness. By the time the fate of the Furious rolled around, the tension had grown so visible that Universal Pictures made a bold decision. Spin the two off into their own film, Hobbs and Shaw. Many fans assumed this was a reward. Insiders whispered it was damage control. Keeping Statham and Johnson in their own sandbox was the only way to keep the main movies from falling apart under the weight of their rivalry. And yet, when the cameras rolled on Hobbs and Shaw, something remarkable happened. Instead of exploding, their chemistry worked. Statham publicly praised The Rock, calling him a diamond to work with, a 10 out of 10. He's extremely precise and relaxed. He's not going to whack you in the head by mistake. Johnson, in turn, softened his stance. "Jason's one of the best physical actors out there. We may butt heads, but at the end of the day, the work speaks louder than anything else. So, where do they stand today? The feud that once threatened to wreck the Fast and Furious empire seems to have cooled into a grudging respect. They aren't grabbing drinks together after filming, but they found a balance. As one crew member put it, they don't love each other, but they know they need each other. The truth is, Jason Statham and The Rock may never be friends. But their rivalry has carved out one of the most iconic action duos in modern movies. And maybe that's exactly the kind of tension Hollywood needs. And so the list is complete. 6 names that Jason Statham made sure the world would never forget. Each feud tells us something bigger than Hollywood gossip. It's about pride, respect, and what happens when strong personalities clash under the bright lights of the industry. But what do you think? Were Statham's grudges justified? Or do you believe these were just the natural sparks of egos colliding on set? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. You won't want to miss what's coming next.